Hi everyone, this is a quick tutorial on how to find a newspaper article in the PCC databases. Now many times you'll hit, say, a newspaper article online that has a paywall. A lot of the newspapers nowadays have paywalls. So it's helpful to know that a lot of times you can take that title and you can search it in the databases. Now there are some free news websites. I like to get my news from NPR. Now that sounds funny, it's National Public Radio, but NPR normally runs the consistent stories, the common stories of the day. There's also news aggregators like All Sides, which will take major news stories and do all their sides. There's the USA Today, that's still a free newspaper. The Guardian is still free. Google News is a good aggregator, so you can always run through the headlines of Google News and it will give you the current news. Now, you have to watch out with Google because in Google, you're reading news that Google has picked for you. But there's a lot of news aggregators that you can use, and that can be a good way of getting the news. Feedly is one. Panda is another, TechMe for tech news. There's a lot of aggregators that have specific news things like Metacritic for movies, science or eScience News for science. Let's say though that you hit a news article that you would have to pay for. What you can do is you can go to the library in MyPima. I'm on the library tab right now. And you can scroll down. We're going to articles and databases, and then we're going to go directly to a database, and we're going to pick ProQuest News and Newspapers, and we're going to click Go. Once we're in ProQuest News and Newspapers, we're going to throw our title in, and then we're going to click the search bar. And you'll notice here's our title right here, Bloomberg News Dilemma, How to Cover a Boss Seeking the Presidency. So we can click into that and we get our news article. Here it is, full text from the New York Times. Again, you can email it to yourself. So you can click on this email tab up here and you can say, I want the full text. I want to make it APA. Right now we're only working with the 6th edition, and then you can mail it to yourself. What's nice with finding a news article this way is that you're already in the databases. So let's say you wanted to find more information about Bloomberg, his presidential campaign, and the fact that he runs a major news network. Well, what you could do is you could slip back into MegaSearch and you could ask that question. You could do a search on his presidential campaign and his news corporation. And when you did that search, you'd be able to look at other information that you found because of that. Then you could pull that information up. Here's an article on the fact that Bloomberg News will avoid investigating Bloomberg's campaign. And you could email that article to yourself. Now, when you do that in the databases, when you go across the databases to check on the source that you were originally reading, you're actually doing something called reading laterally. You're looking up information on a topic, so you're not just basing all your opinions on one news article. And you always want to remember that. You always want to remember that you cannot use what you are reading to check the truth of what you're reading. You need outside evidence. And so you want to make sure that you're looking across the web at your topic, that you're researching other sites, and that you're thinking deeply about the site's intended audience and what those sites are for. You're really looking at the author. Who is it? The reliability and the target, who it's intended for. That's why we actually created a tab in the political science guide for this class. So if you go to Mr. B's tab, you'll notice the various news sites over on the right. You'll notice how to free up locked news articles. There'll be how to read laterally. Then there's the news and bias sites. And that's the reason why a site such as All Sides is such a great site, because what it's really doing is it's aggregating the different sides for you. So you can read stories and you can notice the different sides from the left, from the center, or from the right. So that's the beauty of All Sides as a news site. So I'm going to end right there. Thank you for paying attention.